Hey everyone, I'm Mike, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to use Catalyst and Halo from inference.net to optimize your AI agents with real trace data. We look at how to catch hard-to-find issues that can make agents slow, expensive, or unreliable, and how to get deep visibility into what happens inside every single run. Then we use Halo to turn those traces into actionable fixes, so you're not just observing your agent, you're actually improving it. So, for some background, Catalyst is the tracing layer. It ingests your traces from your agent runs and gives you visibility into what happens. So like the model calls, the tool calls, the inputs, outputs, timing, token usage, cost, errors, basically everything in an agent run. Halo sits on top of that. It's an open source RLM built specifically for analyzing trace data. The kind of like messy, nested, long context agent runs where the important pattern might be spread across a lot of spans. So Halo looks across a bunch of traces and asks, what are the repeated problems here? What is slow, expensive, broken, or redundant, and what should we fix first? The actual loop is pretty simple. The agent runs, Catalyst captures what happened, Halo finds those patterns, you apply the fixes in your coding agent, and then you use fresh traces to verify that the agent got better. So the first step is to install tracing into your application where your agent runs. We actually have a CLI tool that will kick off an agent session like Claude Code or Codex and install tracing for you. All you need to do is run this inf instrument command and it should handle the majority of the work. We support both TypeScript and Python, and then a ton of different agent frameworks. And if you're using an agent framework that we don't support, just let us know and we can get that built. So once you have tracing installed and your agent has been firing, you can navigate to the Traces tab in the dashboard and you should see a bunch of traces here if everything is installed correctly. This is our internal go-to-market and process tool. And so if I click into one of these, you can inspect this agent run. And this one was me asking through Slack to create a linear ticket for a bug that I found. And so we can analyze every tool call that this agent run took. We can see the sub-agents that it kicked off. We can click into each one of these and analyze what's going on. We can see the inputs, the outputs, and kind of like everything that happened during that agent run. So it's a lot of information. We have this timeline view, so we can really see how long each action during the entire run took. And then we also have this thread view, and this is more of like a human readable way to see the back and forth of the conversation. So for example, if you have a customer support chatbot, you can see more easily what the person and the agent are talking about. You can filter your traces however you like by user ID, error status, session, or any custom attribute that you pass onto the OTel span. Search is also really powerful. Anything I type in here will actually do a deep search to find that query in any conversation. So for example, if I type in the linear ticket that was created from my Slack message, it should return the span that appeared in. And then I can click here and see more data, see if there's any issues or whatever. But it will find the agent run that search term was a part of. So this could be anything really specific, like when a customer says refund or a specific product name. And it's a really powerful way to find which agent runs are attached to specific keywords. So we also have the Agents tab in the dashboard, which is essentially a collection of traces just tied to a specific agent. If I click into this, you'll see the overview page, which has some high-level metrics on various different things over time that you can filter. We also have the sessions, and sessions are essentially a conversation instance between a user and an agent, or an agent and another agent. We have the Traces tab, which is the same as the other one, but just pre-filtered to this agent. And then another interesting feature is the signals. And so signals are essentially a set of specific evaluation metrics for each trace that comes in. So for every trace, it gets flagged if it meets the criteria that you set. And you can create any kind of signal you want, but commonly these are things like task outcomes, sentiment, user frustration, jailbreak attempts, or explicit conversations. So you can kind of get a feel for how users feel about your agent, or if anyone is doing something that they shouldn't. You can find the traces where that happens and then find the user associated with that action. And then so the final tab that we have on the agent details is the Halo analysis tab. And this is where the magic happens. Up to this point, we've seen a bunch of data on what our agent has been doing, like the cost, latency, input, output, all of that good stuff. But the real question is still like, okay, but how do I improve my agent? And that is where Halo comes in. Halo looks across your traces and finds the patterns that are easy to miss when you're just inspecting one run at a time. Like maybe one run felt slow, maybe one tool call took 4 seconds, maybe one trace had a weird failure. On its own, that might just look like noise, but with Halo, you can actually uncover what issues are really occurring in your agent using all of your agent traces as context. So Halo is open source and the code is on GitHub. You can self-host it if you want, but this is the easiest way that you can use it. It uses RLM techniques to manage context better than any other normal frontier by itself as well. You can schedule runs by clicking this, and you can create a schedule. So if you want something like Halo to run every week on the recent traces, you can do that here. You can also run it from the MCP or from the CLI, and you can run it manually from here as well. You can change this prompt to anything you'd like, even just to ask specific questions about your agent activity in general. That will all work here. There are some advanced options that you can choose. So let's look at one of the recent runs from this agent. It gave out all of this info, and all of this is super good stuff that we can use to improve our agent. You can also ask any follow-up questions you'd like. So if you are looking for more information, you can come here and ultimately just ask more and more stuff until you are satisfied with the output that you want to use to improve your agent, or if you want to just understand more about what your agent is doing. Once you are satisfied with your results, you just need to plug them into your coding agent to actually make the changes. You can copy the prompt manually and paste it in your coding agent. You can make the changes yourself without an agent if you're old school, I guess. You can use the CLI or MCP as well. The MCP is my favorite way to do this, since I can just stay in my terminal and query it in natural language. It's super easy to set up, and our docs will show you how to do that. But all I need to do now is ask the agent to apply the latest Halo fixes. So yeah, it's gonna crank on that, and when it's done, I will look at the code changes, I will make any tweaks, and then the self-improving loop starts over. Collect more traces, run more Halo loops, and improve my agent. Hope that was helpful. I've been using Halo and Catalyst tracing on my own projects, and it's really been an unlock in improving my applications. With our webhooks and CLI tools, you can automate this whole process as well, so PRs kind of just appear in GitHub with your agent optimized before you've even had breakfast. Other tracing platforms don't really have something quite like this, and we plan to add a lot more features in the coming months. And so if you want to try this out yourself, all you need to do is create a free account on inference.net, install tracing, run Halo on your own agent, and start turning your traces into fixes. Thanks for watching.